All right, ladies and gents, welcome. We've got another Play All 3 in Titans League, and we're playing catch-up, not the condiment, but we are catching up in Group B, as this is just the second round in Week 3 for ACCM and Dogao. So we will see ACCM and Dogao twice this week, as they will try and even out the rounds played. We have ACCM with 2 wins after the first round. He won 2-1 versus Draken. And that was a pretty big deal there, right? Because I think we all knew going into it, Draken probably not favored to get a series win, but would aim to get a game win, and he did that, which he's so good at. And then ACCM looked really clean otherwise in those 2 victories, and then we had Dogao play his first round recently against a player he knows well in his teammate Miguel, and he was able to get a 3-0 result there over Miguel. So it's a bit weird for me. I think ACCM showed a greater peak than Dogao did, but ACCM lost a game, and Dogao didn't. So we'll see. I felt like it was a little rough around the edges for Dogao, but the matchup worked out nicely for him to start off the series. Now, when I predicted this group, I think I said ACCM first, Veleza second, and then Dogao third. ACCM had 13 wins in the group stage in the previous season. 13 wins. And then he lost 3-2 to Leary in the playoffs in the quarterfinal, which was disappointing because I remember saying that ACCM was one of my favorites to win the whole thing. So, I think ACCM isn't quite in the same level that I was seeing from him in TTL Season 2, but it's still early days, right? Both these guys, maybe not considered top 10 right now. I think ACCM would be in people's top 10. Dogao may be slightly out of it. But at one point, Dogao was top 5, top 10 name in our game for many, many years. And I think where Dogao can struggle a little bit these days is maybe on the preparation for some of the mixed maps. But I think on a map like this, this is the neutral map. They both decided they're comfortable playing this. This is basically an open map similar to Arabia. So I expect a lot of scouts and lots of aggression to start off the series. I think Dogao chose Migration as his home map, and then ACCM chose Spiral. So again, another series with Migration. I think people are going to be Migration out by the end of TTL Season 3. Like, I like it because every game's different, and it's so complicated. It's not like, Arabia, where it's like, okay, you have the same variation, the same strategies. It feels like the positioning matters a lot more on Migration. Timing's obviously huge, but we still kind of see a variety of everything. I think it's just the nature of the map. It's really complicated, but will also be interesting to see where civs play out in the playoffs, because it's no longer a play all 3. It'll be best of 5s, best of 7s, and then more games have to be played. The civ draft changes as well, so there will be an established meta of what civs are good where, which then means the draft may be very different with the bans. We'll see. ACCM clicks up. Khmer, very good with the scout games. And he's going for 2 lumber camps, I think, as both players are just pushing in their deer right now. Like, both players, I think, in this matchup just kind of know it's a scout game. There's no heavy reason to try and surprise the enemy because you'd be playing against your strengths pretty heavily. So, cheap scouts from the Magyars with the +1 attack against the many scouts that Khmer will make behind their cheap farms. Yeah, Dogao's starting house is a little bit weird. I can agree with you on that. I think ACCM starting houses were actually perfect. Bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna drink my water here. I'm trying to hydrate.
Yes.
That was weird. I said I was going to do something, then it got silent, and then there was taunts from when they had paused. It was really weird. It scared me. Yeah, just like crazy greed here. Both players know what this is going to be. Both players comfortable with how it will play out. I think oh, God. Oh, that's horrible for ACCM. He runs right into the TC. RIP. I mean, thankfully he's in feudal age faster, so he can run away for a while. But yeah, I was just going to say before then, I think I prefer the Magyars here. I think the cheaper scouts and then the forging upgrade being available for both your spearmen and your scouts is really strong. Now, ACCM had played Aztecs a lot in the previous season on Arabia. He then played Aztecs on Graveyards in his first round against Draken. And then he drafted Magyars for this series. Or not Magyars, sorry, Aztecs. That's what I meant to say. So I was surprised that we didn't see Aztecs here. But maybe he felt like this would be more comfortable for him on what can be a pretty messy map. Dogao has had as clean a start as it gets. He's dropping his stable here. And farm's already on the way for ACCM, as he's also mining gold right now. Which tells me maybe he wants to go for early bloodlines or something, but... mining gold to get bloodlines would still take some time and walking back and forth, so I'm not sure exactly the reasoning for that right now. Dogao doesn't even know where ACCM is. He will actually see the villager on gold, which might confuse him as well. He doubles back, sees the stable, sees the villager, could attack the villager, and could kill the villager, but it's Khmer villager, so the villager can just attack and then hop inside the house. Good stuff from ACCM. Dogao out of position, has the spearman, and he can't hop inside houses himself, and ACCM with some real killer instinct tries to block, backs away though. So good play from both players right now. And what is now a scout war. Now where the Khmer feels strong is when there's lots of farms. And those farms have come out already for ACCM. Where the Magyars feel strong is when they have lots of scouts. And I think both players should have plenty of reason to continue to make scouts here. I think go up to 6 scouts and then you adapt from there. I can't really think of a reason, as Dogao's scout needs to pull away here, why we should see anything other than just scouts for now. Does get awkward for the Khmer because they don't have spears if they skip the barracks. Yeah, I think ACCM is purely going to this gold just so we can get bloodlines on the scouts. Because you need 100 gold for that. Woodline will eventually be an issue for Dogao, as he's just on 1 lumber camp. And Dogao will know, 1 villager going to gold, that this will be bloodlines for the enemy. Ooh, ooh. ACCM was not expecting this, and Dogao kills a villager. Right next to the TC there. Sneaky stuff. So yeah, not much more to say, guys. It's been a very clean series. Like, I expected this. Very clean series as it just started. It's probably a dumb thing to say, but it's been a very clean start to the game. Just an out-and-out scout war. The execution on their economies and their switches here, what's important. I like this. I think adding the barracks is smart because you might need a couple spearmen in a scout war. The timing on the spearmen could be awkward, though. We'll see. And Dogao tries again. Ali, the placement prizes are separate from Games 1 prizes. If that answers your question. Still no overchop here for Dogao, but he's close as he walls in his gold miners as well. So it's for the same reasons. And Dogao goes underneath the TC again and kills another villager. Whoa, that one was even closer. And again, this one's a little more obvious in ACCM into the house. I think even Dogao didn't realize. Look at ACCM sit here and wait for that tree to be chopped. Oh, man. Oh, guys, he knows. Look at him. He's staring at the tree. He's like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is now my time to shine. What? There, 0. Go. Go. And Dogao doesn't know. Oh, this is brutal for Dogao. And Dogao was doing great over here, but now he reacts to his woodline. And as he reacts to his woodline, he does get hit by the spearman. Great play from ACCM. And after he lost 2 villagers at home, he just evens it out. I was sick. Dogao couldn't see him back there. I think Dogao should probably be checking for those things. We are talking really high level. But both players making the others work, and they both had to find really creative ways to kill the vills. Dogao's had to go underneath the opponent TC, which you rarely see. And then ACCM had to sit behind that wood line. Bloodlines isn't in yet, so the scouts are still at 45 HP for both. We do see forging, though, for ACCM, so he'll be even with Dogao on that after forging's completed, because that came in for the Magyars for free. It does seem like there's a difference of approach as Dogao finds another villager kill and goes in to kill another one. Oof, those were some heavy hits to not kill another vill there. But Dogao's planning to go to Castle, which is a little risky with the amount of army that's on the field right now. And ACCM's just going to run in here. And it's like, Dogao, you got Spearmen on the field, my friend. But he's been real focused on the attack and didn't think about the defense. And another field goes down for him as well. Another attack from Dogao as he tries to block. Thank God for the Khmer houses. ACCM saving villagers again. Dogao clearly distracted as he gets hit here. He was quick walling at home. And he clicks up to Castle Age here. So now for Dogao, he's got 2 spearmen on the field. He lost the 2 forward spearmen. And even his scouts have been found by these spears. Like, Dogao is going up with very little in defense. Which means ACCM's got a lot of potential to do damage here. Oh, God. The rest of the scouts went down as well. Dogao's struggling a little bit with the multitasking. To me, it feels like there's a speed difference between the two of them. Also, fun fact, and I didn't even really pick up on it or think it was notable till now. ACCM, as Dogao was to quick wall here, is just now taking his berries. He just farmed without a mill. Took no risk whatsoever. And, ooh, big hits. Big quick walls. Oh, that's really good defense from Dogao. What was... T90, when you upload these videos to YouTube, do you ever think about minimizing the screen, slightly popping up another screen and showing X player's POV? It wouldn't be possible, realistically, to do with consistency, especially for an event where this is just group stage. It's a cool idea to possibly do that, but I try and make it clear in my commentary and the way I present the game that this player's distracted with X, Y, or Z issue. And I hope I do a pretty good job at that. It would take a lot of work, I think, to make that happen. Especially getting player POVs would require having the players to do more, and they're already doing a decent amount to get this to work for us. KD's 3-3. Another kill there for ACCM. And yeah, ACCM's later to the next stage. As long as he can defend from Knights, he should be okay here. Really fun Graveyards game. Dogao being punished now for not having as much army support on the field, though. Can't help but feel like those scouts that he lost, even if they were weak, they could have been here fighting this off. And forward spearmen, the forward scouts still active for ACCM a minute till he's in the next stage. And Dogao's woodline situation is rough. He really is going to need to get to another woodline soon. Double stable from ACCM. Just 1 barracks. He'll have 9 spears on the field, so I could easily see pikemen being researched by him. But it's about to be 5 knights for Dogao, and Dogao's headed forward. And if Dogao can engage against these spears before they're upgraded to pikes, it could be a problem. Dogao needs a wood line. ACCM is lurking again. Oh, God. I guess you TC this wood line. This is rough. Maybe here, actually, would be better. Knights go in. Again, you have all that extra attack. The pikeman upgrade's on the way. You absolutely want to fight this. You want to fight this, and you can kill all of them without losing a single knight. That's huge for Dogao. And ACCM hops inside the house. Quick walls as well. Both these guys are playing so good. He's still going to have future pikemen, but it's not as bad as it could be as the scouts now loop over to the wood line again. And that's been the difference in the game. ACCM has been able to keep his lumberjack safe. Loses a couple farmers here or there, obviously, but otherwise he's been fine. It was the back wood lines, and it was walling them in. It was also 2 lumber camps versus 1. His light cav actually go underneath the TC from ACCM. He's now killed 9 eco. And it seems like with the Khmer farms and with the eco balance that ACCM is in a significantly better position to go forward in this game. He's got pike defense, which Dogao does not. He has the light cav on the field to snipe any monks, which Dogao does not. The farms are more efficient with the Khmer. The backyards are just standard farms, right? And this might actually be snowballable right now if you're ACCM. You've killed a lot. And you know Dogao's going to be out of wood soon, so you should be looking around. He's probably going to send this force over here and maybe over towards the gold. And now he sees the lumber camp. And Dogao has so little vision right now, and he just has to hope his opponent doesn't hit the wood line. And the light cav are here. Now, there is a knight and there is a spear, but ACCM just kills one and runs away again as he now loops in this way. He goes for the monk, loses the knight. Will kill the monk, though. He does also lose another knight there, so Dogao's still holding. Dogao's counterattack needs damage right now. It needs some type of damage because he's struggling, and he's going to find it. Oh, he walled! The 3 weak villagers are in the house! And now there's a monk looking for a conversion. And that's not going to be a conversion because Dogao deleted it, which was really smart, actually. Ends up killing the monk, doesn't donate a knight to the enemy. A couple random wolves are over here. And there's been a lot of activity this game. There's been a lot of activity. Dogao still has decent knight numbers. He's up to 10. He hasn't been broken yet. It is 2 TCs for ACCM, who's got pikemen, he's got knights, he's got light cav. I think when Dogao sees this TC is when he needs to decide on how he plays this, because you know you've lost more vills than your opponent, and then you know they're going to have more villagers as well because of the town center. So this is where usually you see players decide on dropping like more military in some way. God, ACCM's so good. He's always on the prowl, constantly, with something. Even if he's defending, he's always moving out. I would like to see ACCM maybe consider a few more blacksmith upgrades here. That is something that is going to be a concern in these fights. But you will be able to afford more knights with your eco. It seems happy enough to take the fight considering the numbers here. Here, he defends. He's got monks ready. He's got pikes prepared as well. Dogao has to run away there. ACCM still lingering around with these knights, still hoping for villager kills. It's looking worse and worse for Dogao. There's an overchop on the wood line. He has no time to check these things. He had no time to be choosy on his wood line location because of how aggressive ACCM has been. And then he goes in for more damage, and ACCM pushes that away with conversions and healing. Now 14 villagers killed from ACCM. These knights are going to loop underneath the TC. That's a bit interesting. No armor. He's researching armor now. But yeah, guys, this is looking pretty brutal for Dogao. He does place this TC. But it feels like ACCM just has full control over this game. Conversion. All right, doesn't happen. ACCM deletes. It's pretty easy, Lazy Lucretia, to notice which knight the monk is converting based on the direction your monk is looking. Like, in the instance earlier, it was clearly the one in the middle as opposed to the one on the side, at least in my view. Especially because he kind of had the other monks near the end. He had the other monks in a different position. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but the way he knew was based on the direction the monk was facing. Deleting was really smart. Also, Dogao 4 relics. Adding Lightcav now himself will kill a monk. This becomes kind of like a boom and a relic war almost now, as we're just seeing monks and Lightcav created from ACCM. Having the pikemen at home is fantastic here. Having a 20 villager lead is also not bad. Lightcav will trade against each other here. And then the monk from Dogao gets sniped from the knights in the north. There's 11 relics in this map. Yeah, it's something that pros pay attention to. But there's no secret beyond just seeing, like, being able to sense it based on the direction the monks are looking. Now, I really thought ACCM was going to go for the kill, but he hasn't really done that. And this could give Dogao some initiative. Now, ACCM was over here, starting to kill villagers. Dogao's noticing with conversions. That could be 2 conversions right there if ACCM doesn't get out of here. Should have been 2, I feel. But Dogao killed a few villagers in revenge. Will lose this light cap if he doesn't pull away, though. He pulls away now. Knights coming in. That's a lot of knights. That is a ton of knights. These knights have +2 attack. There's only one... no, there's a couple monks around, actually. But if ACCM does not react to this, his whole lead could disappear. I think he's looking over here or something. ACCM. He's lost way more than he should have there. He got slaughtered. I think it says how good his position was to still have a 17 or so villager lead, but dang. And all you want as a high-level player is you want the initiative, which ACCM has had for a very long time. If Dogao can claw that back, start to, control the raiding game, maybe things are a little bit different. Dogao does lose most of his knights, though. Comes in with light cav, looking for monks. He's going to see these monks. So it's starting to get messy for ACCM. Look at Dogao. Talk about paying attention. It's super messy to look through the villagers and the houses and see those monks. But all right. I mean, it's still advantage ACCM. But Dogao's killed more villagers and he gives himself a chance. He didn't just roll over. He didn't just die. I think the game plan for ACCM shifted into eco. And it just opened up that opportunity. This is him trying to change that now and move forward. And I like this TC as well on the stone and the gold to protect this area. It's like everything's really clumped up right now for ACCM at home. And it makes it really hard for Dogao to engage. Pikes actually die. Again, the importance of that attack. But still not the worst fight ever. And Dogao did spot these knights were headed over here a moment ago. So he's on the way. He also shows up to hit the golds. Both players playing open. Both players playing pretty clean. We've had tons of villagers die in this game. ACCM defends the attack from Dogao and just stays underneath the town center because he knows he has stronger army. And now he's going to pull away. Like right there, you see how the monk was looking this way and then it starts looking this way? That's a delete. You delete there because the monk changed location. But ACCM didn't notice because he probably looked back to do like 16 different other things. What he saw was when he clicked his knight versus that monk, the monk was going after the other group. So there's always a chance there. Still 2 TCs for Dogao, which is really bad. Opponent still has pikemen, which is really bad. 7,000 more resources collected for ACCM. And it feels like maybe the moment has passed for Dogao. Dogao doesn't have the knight advantage. He doesn't have the upgrade advantage. He doesn't have the army comp advantage too, because it's pike and knight. He doesn't actually have as many monks either. So he's behind in every way. And that's before we even remind you of the economy. And yeah, Dogao can get a conversion, but at the end of the day, even with the conversions, he will lose, and he knows it. I think he sensed that he was behind for some time, and he wanted a big fight into a forward castle. But ACCM gets the job done. And honestly, initially, it looked really good from Dogao. I think he undermade army, and ACCM was able to make him pay. ACCM's additional spearmen, ACCM's additional scouts, they paid off a lot in late feudal and early castle. And I also think that for Dogao, he really struggled to have another wood line. And that's why a lot of players still prefer the 2 lumber camp approach. Obviously, ACCM's done with his wood now on the back. But the 2 lumber camp approach allows you to play a little bit safer because you don't over chop. It's actually a little bit more efficient as well. So would have liked to have seen Dogao get more value from his additional scouts. ACCM takes the first win on the neutral map. And I'm curious to see now what happens in game 2, because I think we go to water, where Dogao is pretty comfortable, but I haven't seen ACCM play a water map in a really long time. Oh, you want to take a look at their APM in that game? Sure. Neither of these two really have APMs that are going to look off the charts because they have very, what's the word? They have a lot of effective actions. They're not like key clickers or key spammers. A lot of people with high APM are over clicking their armies a lot, which will make the spike. But obviously this is still really fast in terms of their effective actions per minute. And they're very, very similar in terms of speed. All right, game 2. Let's go. We've got migration, Malay, Japanese, which we saw earlier today. But the main thing is, will these guys be going for middle control with their, with stable units? Sorry. I probably should break the whole thing down, but I feel like I'm beginning to sound like a broken record when it comes to migration. So I'll simplify it a little bit more. The Japanese, the cheap lumber camps and the cheap mining camps, and mills, I guess, leads to a lot of wood savings, which allows them to fish like crazy. They're one of the best civilizations, if not the best civilization for migration due to the wood savings and the fish. As far as everything else is concerned, though, that wood savings adds up towards being able to afford some of the things we're seeing with our meta, which is a barracks and a stable. The Malay have no wood savings, which a couple of the civilizations that are typically picked on migration do have. Like Italians save wood on their fishing ships. Actually, yeah, like there's no savings bonuses at all for the Malay, whereas Italians cheaper fishing ships, cheaper to go up to the next stage. Japanese cheaper lumber camps, mills, mining camps. Dravidians, I guess it's not technically savings, is it? Their dock acts as a house. They get extra wood. But what Malay do have is they advance faster. And I think advancing faster can allow you to hit the timing. But sometimes players will arrive too fast to the next stage. They can't necessarily afford what they want yet, so you've got to get the balance right. And yeah, you will get additional villagers because you spend less time researching the next stage. Yeah, can't tell you the last time I've seen fish trapping here, so I don't think the fish trapping bonus for the Malay is really why you pick them. But it was first pick for Dogao after we had... What civs were banned? Dravidians would have had to have been banned, right? Okay, Dravidians was banned and Italians was banned. Okay, this makes sense. And then Japanese was picked first by ACCM. And that's probably how I would tier it. I would say like Dravidians, Italians, Japanese are top 3. Probably Malay for number 4. I'm surprised that we're not seeing Bengalis picked a little bit more. I genuinely think Bengalis are solid on migration. You get +2 vills when you arrive to each age, which is nice. Your ships regen. And then your monks are strong. And we tend to see lots of monks. But I think they're way more awkward to play. Players don't like to play civs that feel weird. Civs that are hard to play, they just don't want to play, so. Malians, yeah, I mean, like, I think the issue with Malians is their water tech tree kind of sucks. I forget if they get fast fire, but yeah, I think Malians, even Huns could be civs you could maybe consider. But nah, man, I think there's 4 civs that are, like, very clearly much smoother than all the others, and it's Japanese, Dravidians, Italians, and Malay. Yeah, I think Byzantines should be in the conversation as well. But beyond the faster working fires, I think the lack of savings, you don't really have... The only timing window you have with the Byzantines would be it's cheaper to go imp. And then you don't have any savings like the other civs do. So I think players tend to prefer Byzantines more for their lands defense these days than anything. But Byzantines are solid. You could say Vikings, but we've seen players play Vikings, and then I immediately have said afterwards, that's the last time we're going to see them play Vikings on this map, because the galley approach is too awkward against the fire builds these guys are going for these days. Doubt did win with Vikings versus Malay, though, going longboats and galleys. But it feels like because of how much focus you have to put into the middle, having to have galleys, which you have to hit and run micro with all the time, and you have to make so many of, it becomes really awkward. So that's why I think Vikings aren't in the conversation. And I'm just saying, based on the meta right now, I think they can still be good. Romans could be decent, but I don't think... Even still, again, I don't think that they're making use of the Roman bonuses as much. Why make it so much more difficult on yourself? Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like, everyone's playing Elite Age of Empires. A lot of the up-and-coming players I've trained a lot more than some of these other big names. I think players recognize the threat that some of these other players are going to bring to the table. What about Koreans? No demos, Hertzen, and Fire War. So I think that's why you probably don't see Koreans. By the way, there's other things we'll talk about, but right now they're just going to be making fishing ships, so I'm happy to talk about civs for now. Yeah, Nathaniel, I think if you go fast castle longboats, you get punished really hard. And you lose all your fishing ships. So you might end up overtaking water, but then you have 0 fishing ships versus 12. And it becomes complicated later on. Ooh, look at this. So cheaper mining camps. And then we also get this mining camp. Woo-wee! Hopefully ACCM tasks his villagers to gold, though, because I don't think he has the need for stone right now. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, is that intentional? Yeah, villagers will just go to the closest area. Yeah, looking pretty smooth. Remember, this is Dogao's home map. So this is the map you would expect him to be very comfortable on. He's clicked up to the next stage. He's got 12 fishing ships. Will we see a barracks? Will we see a stable? I think it's easier for the Japanese to afford because of their wood savings. But I've not seen ACCM play migration yet. And I don't really see him as the best of water players. Like, let me put it to you this way. I think he can do the water aspect really well. But the other build I'm talking about, I don't know if he's up to speed. I think Dogao would also opt to just play full water and boom, though. Like, Dogao's not really someone to try the new builds. Dogao, I teamed with him in a team game tourney. And he and Miguel would just kind of like jokingly complain about all the nerdy builds that everyone would do. And they always seem to be a little bit behind the times as far as that's concerned. And it's blacksmith market from both. And actually, ACCM just transported his scout for now, which is pretty fascinating. So he's just brought his scout forward, but he hasn't brought any vills yet. Are we going to see loom? I feel like players should be considering loom, but no loom there for ACCM. There is loom for Dogao. Dogao clicks up. He'll be in the next stage faster now. And obviously, we're going to see a bunch of ships. It takes so long to get to the other side. So if you were to have gone galleys and tried to run across the map, by the time you get to the opponent's docks, they would have a fire and they'd be clicking the upgrades. Yeah, you can build a transport in Dark Age. It wasn't always like that. That was a change that they made to the game quite a few years ago. And I think it's a really good change. When was that? Was that with DE? I think that was with DE. I think there was, or maybe it was a couple patches into the definitive edition. So at least 3 or so years ago, I'd say. Interesting dock from ACCM. He has just docked the other side here. It is his third dock, so normally you have 3 at this time. But interesting how his scout is scouting the map. He hasn't done anything of importance with these vills yet. I think they will ultimately TC. I do like how he's not in the dark on things. Like, I like how he's going to choose a TC location based on a lot of information. I also like how he now sees Dogao is here. And ACCM is winning the scout war right now. And this is going to be... This is basically how gold players were playing it 6 weeks ago. Is go ships, go monks, and go TCs. Oh, scout goes down for Dogao, sorry. And that's huge, because a 3 HP scout can kill a monk no problem. Monks can't fight back. 4 galley upgrades in for Dogao as he redocks in the south. 4 efficiency with the fish. Dogao's going this way. He's not sent anything the other way. ACCM's on the way. ACCM sees this. No war galley upgrade yet, which is notable. No TC yet for Dogao, and he's probably not feeling great about the situation on land at the moment. Good defense so far from ACCM, but he's going to kill the ship. Trades 1 for 1, that's fine. Still no TC for Dogao. And he needs to drop that, and there he goes. And ACCM gets full vision on this. Over here, ships engaging. ACCM's been falling off on water a little bit. He's getting 1 for 1s, I guess. But he's only got 4 ships. Oh man, Dogao was so close to killing that. ACCM can see this. And he's going to convert one of these vills. This is so annoying. And of course, there's panic for Dogao right now. So Dogao could make take poor fights elsewhere. And then the scout gets healed up, and now the scout starts engaging, and now we have the villager engaging as well. Now there's another monk. It's all because the starting scout went down. This whole TC could be denied because of a monk or two and the starting scout being the difference. Oh, God, this is horrible for Dogao. This is nightmarish stuff. Like, he needs to find some value on water right now, and he's going to lose all of his villagers here. Disaster, but amazing instinct from ACCM. Like, I use the words killer instinct because that's what it is. And it also begs the question, where are the scouts? Everybody else has been adding scouts. No one in this game felt like that was necessary, as Dogao's like, oh my God, I gotta complete this. And another villager gets converted. And the monks are now gonna be attacked, and then another villager can be converted. And the scouts just fully healed up again. And this is, I mean, you're not gonna complete this TC. You're just not. Look, you keep attacking the scout all you want. The monk is healing it up with his little book. He's waving, he's wafting the book against the scout, and then the scout just survives. And the GG's called, and ACCM has won two straight, all stemming from winning the scout war with 3 HP. Because if that doesn't happen, Dogao's TC is probably a little bit later, sure. But everything else is probably similar on land. Like, this fight, right? Again, so many players don't continue to chase this down. So many players are like, there's Vils. I won't do this. He does it. Barely wins the scout fight. And then the rest is history. That is so good from ACCM. I do feel as though both didn't do a lot to compete with monks in the middle. And I also feel like Dogao struggled with the timing on the TC here. Like, he went monastery and then could never make a monk, obviously, because of this scout. But even still, feels like he just needed to have the TC down faster. And ACCM, like, I thought it was pretty cool. He scouted the whole middle area before he decided what he was going to do. So it's not like he was placing a TC in the dark like Dogao. Dogao doesn't know if there's stone or gold here. He has now reached a point where it's, I need a TC fast because things are not going well for me. So, not a great sign for Dogao. Obviously loses 2 games in a row. That one was pretty quick and didn't put up much of a fight. Elsewhere, by the way, ACCM, while he hadn't produced as many ships, he ended up with a 16-8 KD, including 5 eco kill. Oh, actually, well, those are the villagers, but still. The fact that ACCM didn't lose any fishing ships, the fact that he still was winning the water wars as well was impressive. And, I mean, Dogao won 3-0 in the first round. But now, if he gets 3-0'd right back, suddenly it's really looking rough for him and awkward for him in this group. Guys, look at the civilizations for this game. Look at it. Look at it. It's game 3 in this play all 3 here. Really important for Dogao he doesn't get swept. And we've got ACCM playing as the Romans. New civilization. Lots of things to talk about. And it's the Romans versus the Byzantines. Now, guys, I played this matchup once on Arabia. Very different than this. Horrible matchup for the Romans. Horrible. But we'll maybe get there, okay? Let's talk about why ACCM's picked the Romans. I think the first thing is because he's up 2-0. I think it's the first reason. He also picked a lot of his early civilizations for other maps, which helped him get those wins already. So he did have to be a bit more experimental in some of the other ones. But as far as the in-game bonuses here, the big one, and I think the reason Romans are considered strong at all by anyone right now, is not the armor, but it's the 5% bonus, where 5% economy, or their villagers basically do everything else, or everything, I can't speak, 5% more efficiently. So that bonus feels really strong. And the Romans are still a rather new introduction. And, you know, they honestly kind of one of the weirder DLCs we've had. You know, the devs initially, like, yep, none of these civs are available, you know, in multiplayer. And then I think a bunch of people canceled pre-orders. And then they were like, well, actually, we are going to have it in multiplayer, but we need to wait 2 months. And, like, then the hype had kind of died. It was weird. But with all that, TTL 3 is really the first big tourney that's coming around where I feel like the maps are mixed and maybe some of them are suitable for the Roman bonuses. So, but guys, Romans, they don't really have a great counter to the cataphract. Because when you think Romans, you think like knights, you think infantry, and the cataphract is pretty good against both those things. Now, I guess in theory, maybe the centurion could happen, but the centurion's a really expensive unit. That's my breakdown. Now, as far as Byzantine bonuses, really good defensive civilization. Also, these civilizations will know each other quite well due to the location, so this will be helping in defense. You have very cheap skirmishers, very cheap pikes, very cheap camels. And then if you wish to go into archers too, they have fully upgraded archers. Like, unlike the Romans, they've got pretty solid siege too. So I guess they don't have scorpions that are as crazy as the Romans. So now I don't know that much history. So maybe someone just said Battle of Frigidas incoming, Kappa. Was that like, I assume somewhat comparable to the situation at hand? I'm going to assume that there were not 2 bodies of water with 3 groups of salmon in each in that battle, but maybe there was a center gold area with amphibious terrain and 1 relic. So, but let's just forget about the unique units, because cataphracts are going to take some time. Centurions are going to take a ton of time as well. Which civ do I prefer? I think I might prefer the Romans off a scout build. I'm thinking that ACCM will want to do that. ACCM, he's open strong in every single game. He's scouted Dogao already. He has docked just like Dogao has done, but I think while the Byzantines have the cheaper spears, I feel like if you just get some scout momentum going anyways, could be pretty strong. It was a usurper in the west defeated by the emperor based in the eastern part of the empire. Got it. Okay. Well, good to know. What was... Let me just look at the draft again from ACCM. Okay, so he was considering Chinese, I think, originally. Chinese, Aztecs, and then he had Romans last. Yeah, I've not really seen Chinese do too well on this map. I think the start is a little too awkward. And getting the dock timing just doesn't feel smooth, so... They both click up. Dogao is a bit faster, or sorry, Dogao is a bit behind to the next stage. But this generation, guys, has the water closer to the players, and then the hunt and the forage bushes further away. And Dogao maybe thinking about heading over here to maybe dock the opponent's side. He knows there's water over there. Just passing really close to that TC for a second. And that villager is likely going to dock here. ACCM building the barracks. This is probably before the stable. ACCM 30 seconds away. And ACCM, I think he's looking. Like, I really think he's thinking that he's going to be docked here. Dogao's going to try and wedge in the dock there. Ah! No, Dogao, you've been spotted. And it's just, he's so fast all the time. He's faster to feudal here, so he could start attacking Dogao's scout. Now Dogao is really going to try and get this dock down. Like, this is a part of his build. His eco is set up for this to work, as we've got militia from ACCM. And guys, Dogao doesn't even know the barracks is there. And Dogao's scout died. We'll see if this dock even completes. We actually have a galley being added by ACCM, so he could potentially deny this dock. See if the galley can make it. It's at 90%. This dock is at 60%. There's militia, there's villagers, there's a scout. That dock's at 80%. Dogao, force it down. You're going to lose the villa anyway. Force it down. Force it down. Dock goes up. Good stuff there from Dogao. And you also now know that there's militia. So that part isn't a surprise. And you can kill the fishing ships. So that's not too bad. Behind this, Dogao with the barracks, now with an archer range, so he's going to go into archers. Makes sense against the infantry. And ACCM will have some issues on water, perhaps. But he'll have to make some fires now. And Scout obviously gets to move forward. And oh, guys, the guy who's I'm tied with for first place in predictions right now predicted 3-0 for ACCM. And I predicted 2-1 for ACCM. I'm sorry, I shouldn't bring that up. I wasn't expecting the predictions to be so interesting to me. It might be the fact that I'm doing well in them that has them be exciting for me. But anyways, archers for Dogao. In defense. He does not know his opponent has also docked his side. And he's going to find that out the hard way as ACCM's defending his fish. Wow, ACCM, it just really feels like he takes control, he keeps control, he's got more momentum with everything he's doing in these games. Who are you tied with in predictions, T90? I don't know the guy's name. His name is like Slippery something. If you look at the leaderboard, you could see the results. Sorry, I can't win because then people will say this is all rigged anyways. So that's part of it. And Dogao gonna defend, but we did just have armor research from ACCM's Man-at-Arms. You get double armor with the Roman infantry. Oh boy. Okay, never mind. ACCM makes it through. Dogao has walled this way, by the way. There's actually, it says 0 on that salmon. So there's no fish left over there. He's got more fish down here. And Dogao is just playing into archers and chasing down the infantry. And ACCM has not made anything else, really. It's just the Man-at-Arms. These Man-at-Arms have bought him a ton of time. But I am really curious on what he's actually going to make behind this. I feel like skirmishers could have made some sense. ACCM clearly distracted, runs directly into the TC fire. And Dogao probably pretty happy with that. Not so happy with this, I imagine. Didn't even scout the fish down here anyways. And yeah, he's killing the fish from ACCM. All right. Well, let me check res collected. Res collected, everything's a bit more for the player who has 5%. Right? Eco KD's 3-1 for Dogao, but he doesn't have the 5% that the Romans do. So, you know, I think that played a role. I also think the idle time for Dogao played a role. Total worker efficiency in the last minute is much lower for Dogao, which is now at the bottom left, if you're wondering. But overall efficiency for Dogao is 5% more. Or sorry, for ACCM is 5% more. I don't know how much of that is due to the Romans and how much of that is due to how messy this game has been, but 5% is what the bonus is. So it makes sense. I think ACCM senses there will be an attack, but is uncertain on where the archers will go right now. Like, clearly some concern for him, right? Like, he's walling here with 2 villagers. I think he's just now noticed the archers are here. Man-at-Arms died. The deer are getting shot here by Dogao, and Dogao sees the skirms, Dogao sees the vills, and Dogao's just going to run away. Feels like scouts would be really nice here, but I think you could just also just try and run away. Try and get away from here. Kill as many skirmishers as you can because they're not armored. Well played, Dogao. Well played, ACCM, though. He'll find another archer pick. And this game will probably transition to the next stage from here. Still no stable here from Dogao. I prefer his mill, by the way. ACCM's mill on just deer. I know why he did it, but I would have preferred that he maybe get a bit closer to the berries, too. And more Man-at-Arms from ACCM? Are you kidding me? Dogao's never going to expect this. That is really interesting. Whoa. So it definitely breaks the meta, right? Like, this is not something that you normally see. Players normally think about Castle Age. Dogao's archers. We'll have about 6 of them here, and he could also add in scouts, but this archer, Man-at-Arms, skirm combination is all pretty interesting. And I think will make life difficult for Dogao. Dogao will have to fight with vills here. Here he goes. And armor's on the way for the ranged units as well for ACCM. And ACCM with this killer instinct all the time. I want to kill. I want to kill. Who cares if it's not like meta? It's like the previous game. But I'm not super convinced with it. I don't know what to think, guys. It's so new. The Man-at-Arms are so much tankier than normal. I think he just felt like, I haven't done enough with it. Let's get Castle Age as he uses the market. He's not actually going to kill that much here, though. Dogao hasn't clicked up, though. Dogao is going to use the market himself. Market rates will obviously be a little bit worse. And the man-at-arms, as tanky as they are, haven't killed anything. But they might become longswords in the next age. What in the world? And Dogao's going to also buy some res. Click up to the Castle Age here soon. And, oh no, the fires are taking out the barracks! That's actually horrible. Also, the fact that Dogao has scouts now allows him to see what more is coming. ACCM dropping another barracks. I mean, there's a timing here that could maybe work. I feel like Dogao, though, he should know what's happening now. And he should just try and commit to archers. I think there's going to be some level of fear from him because the Romans are still kind of new, that maybe archers won't work. But ACCM doesn't really have that many skirms. I think if Dogao had the stone to be able to drop a tower, you could just tower this to help defend the area. And the fact he doesn't have that now could be weird for him. But he's actually moving forward with his archers right now. He's done reacting to ACCM. And by the way, the total worker efficiency for the whole game is here again. So I just keep wanting to check that. I don't normally check that much. I think Dogao will know that this is walled, but he's hoping to at least do something here. ACCM will open Castle Age with very few resources. But he does have the resources for a TC, and he's going to drop a TC down here. Archers are on his wood line. Villager killed. Nice play, Dogao. Longsword upgrade now on the way for ACCM. Dogao sees a villager. ACCM reacts. I can't see the villager HP, but it's going to die, I think. Yep. Dogao's killed 6 eco. Dogao now is at ACCM's base. ACCM's going to head to Dogao's base. And Dogao sees that that is going to be the case. Dogao's base, that's the case. ACCM abandons his wood line. Walls off so we can take this wood. And this gets really messy because ACCM's got long swords. And he wants kills. And Dogao's going to be making knights here. Feels really important, though, that you would get the Castle Age armor here, right? On these long swords. To get that double armor. Because I feel like if you don't have that, the knights are going to feel really strong. And Dogao really could use the second TC on the gold that ACCM never scalded. He never checked it. And here we just have the longswords attacking a range as the crossbows from Dogao are all around. And now the knights show up. And crossbow knight feels pretty strong about this. It's just the awkward tech tree for the Romans. Their eco's good. But are their units really that good in an open map environment? Dogao flirted with the idea of running through there. He knows that ACCM's under pressure there. This won't be an issue, though. Dogao can clear that up. And Dogao will clear this up. And this is advantage for Dogao. Big advantage for Dogao. He pulls the weak knights away. He can pull that weak knight away as well. He already has a monk prepared to heal up. The Byzantine monks heal up pretty quickly as well. And ACCM is now left wondering, what more could I have done here? As he's got 5 longswords, a spearman, a skirm, an archer, and now he's going scorpion defense. So Dogao should, in my opinion, be able to snowball this game victory from here. As long as he doesn't make any big economic mistakes. As long as he continues to prioritize some pressure after healing up. I mean, he's got tons of knights, right? And even here, the crossbowman's still able to possibly get away. If he runs into the TC, he won't. And, oh, that's huge! That's a big deal. Because if the crossbows are gone, suddenly pikeman, monk, is a little bit stronger in defense. ACCM with more eco soon. He'll drop the 3rd TC in the back. We'll see what happens. Dogao's going to drop his 3rd TC now. Down here. Good TC location. But he actually, was engaging here. I didn't expect him to find any value. He immediately dives. It doesn't have the crossbowman anymore, but he can take the scorpions, kill some villagers, kill some longswords underneath this. And then he'll run away with these knights. Still not totally impressed with Dogao's macro. Was expecting a TC here a while ago. He's going to maybe get some relics. He's saving up the stone for a TC. Dogao, you're killing me. Come on, dude. Sorry, I want him to win this game. It makes the group more interesting, and it makes my prediction contest look really good. He's killing me. And that TC's perfect. And he actually, because he places that TC, runs out of stone, doesn't have enough stone for cataphracts. And he'll probably think, oh crap, where's my next stone now? There is more stone here. I think he also might just buy that castle. And it's just problematic for ACCM because he has no map control. It's just really awkward. I think if it's a boom game with Romans against select civilizations, it could be really good. But I'm not sure the Man-at-Arms necessarily did it. Or at least he could have gone Man-at-Arms Skirm initially. Longsword hype? Longswords almost break through there. There's actually a hole here as well. So Dogao's got to be careful in this area. As he actually sees it. Places more houses. Wow, incredible defense as he brings knights over. And he will drop a castle in the middle area. And then it's like, oh, I have good infantry. I have good scorpions. And I'm up against cataphracts. Cataphracts should be brutal to deal with. We've got a great bonus against infantry. Great job from ACCM to still stay alive, though. To still be in this. To still focus on this economy. Which is missing lots of upgrades, I'm noticing. But I think Dogao, for as messy as the previous game looked, has recovered here. It's so important not to get swept in this format. And we are going to see some cataphracts eventually. The longswords get pulled in. And one's going to switch sides. I would go blue here all the way. I don't want to be red. There you go, buddy. I don't blame you at all. Go heal up with your new team. Yep. It's all right. They don't blame you. Look how mine the gold in the middle. What does ACCM do? I mean, it's got to be pikes, right? It's got to be pikes. Pikes and monks for now. Just to hold from this. Dogao making lots of knights. So, I mean, there's always a world where the monks get conversions. Where the pikemen get kills. Still feels very difficult with Dogao's vision, too. Look at his awareness in the north. Really needs to expand his awareness and vision here in the south. And the monks for ACCM are out of position right now. No, ACCM, no. His monks are going down there. Villagers are exposed. He doesn't have the numbers. This is before we see the cataphracts. Where are those cataphracts, Dogao? Cataphracts would be a bit stronger here. Well, actually, hold on a second. Those knights got wrecked. Okay. Rez collected this game. Dogao has collected more and way more gold. The concern for ACCM will be branching out to a gold other than here. He could try here. But most likely he's going to make a dash here at some point, and that is where Dogao is camping with the crossbow. And castle now coming up for ACCM to protect this area. And Dogao looks to push forward. Dogao with his monks will go for conversions. Doesn't get all the conversions he wants, but realistically, your Byzantines, you've got cheap imp. I think Imperial Age makes sense as the move here. Cataphracts have got to be really tempting, but if you don't have any more stone income right now and your opponent has monks, I think going Arbalest would, or like back into ranged units would probably be the safer play. Because that's quite a few pikes. And yeah, cataphracts are better against pikes than knights are, but still, I think archers are going to be the better example. You're going to have more success here, but oh my god. This is cataphracts with one upgrade, guys. Like, who cares about your armor, Romans? I think that ACCM is probably running out of ideas now. The only thing he could think of is pikes. And he still hasn't clicked imp. The castle's just now noticed by Dogao. I'm sure he didn't realize the castle was there as he's run into it. And he just needs to find more stone now, Dogao. He's got stone here. He's got stone here. Really fixated on the fights. Still a minute away from the Imperial Age. If it was up to T90 at the moment, he would allow cheat codes and let Dogao type, how do you turn this on? No, that's not true. I just think the predictions are fun, right? And I hope that you guys care about hearing about my predictions too, because if you don't, tell me it's a bit much, but it's a fun aspect of it. We did have 400 people enter their predictions as well. And, oh man, Dogao's crossbow was sitting there before. And he runs over here now, and he denies this TC, which again means ACCM has limited gold access. And TC denied at 95%. Dogao is placing a couple more ranges here. His eco is looking great behind this. He hits the Imperial Age. ACCM's a fighter. He wants the 3-0. He knows he's down bad, but he still wants to win. He's not known for resigning early. Obviously, seeing your opponents in Imp, though, doesn't make you feel too hot. Outposting here from Dogao will show him that ACCM has expanded a little bit. That's something that he could have done a better job of. And TC will go up for ACCM, who still has 100+ vills. And Dogao's opening with Trebs, but nothing else. I guess it's going to be hand cannons for him. And that's why he's dropped the ranges and is getting chemistry. This raid won't accomplish too much because ACCM notices. Meaning that ACCM could maybe castle this area and protect it. Army count is higher for ACCM than it is for Dogao. But castle's starting to be trebbed down. More trebs are on the way. There's monks waiting here. Dogao has a Byzantine castle in the center gold area. And he's about to have gunpowder in combination with all these things. ACCM's going to probably try and rush an engagement up against that Treb soon. Cataphracts. One gets converted. And now there's a cataphract on those stone miners. Yeah, ACCM's going to be focused here. Can Dogao close it out? Can he get a win, which would give him 4 after 2 rounds, which would be really respectable. It would actually be the same for ACCM, because ACCM got 2 wins in his first round. And then it would then be 2 wins in this round. ACCM repairing away. I think he'll go Legionary. I don't actually have it how much it costs memorized. There's our Centurion. Legionary, Centurion together could be good. But I don't think having 1 Centurion with your Legionaries actually gives you any benefit unless you get the unique tech for Romans. Which then adds like a charge attack. Or like a movement speed bonus, or both. I forget which. Well, now the Centurion... now the Centurion is with the Cataphract side. What is this? How easy he switched sides. You freaking coward. What are you going over there for? Alright. Well... that's kind of funny, considering the matchup. The unit's way more expensive than a Cataphract too, so I think Centurion versus Cataphract is an unrealistic thing. And, well, the hand cannons are wrecking these things. They're not Legionaries yet. Oh, no. Awful time to take a fight, and obviously a lot of it is because Dogao's forcing the issue. Raid there with the Cataphract that had switched sides. That Cataphract is going to be killed, and... okay, now Legionary's in, but you've got an infantry unit versus gunpowder, so I guess based on the tech tree you're working with here, you would then want to go for Scorpions, which you could do, and we might see, but the Scorpions are still very vulnerable against bombard cannons. Romans, their eco's good. Their options, I think, situational, at least competitively. And Dogao is looking to go for the kill here. And again, I think he'll be really disappointed with how the first and second game went. These things are pretty strong. Considering we're up against mainly hand cannons here and they're all not dead right now, it's pretty wild. But like game number 1, Dogao played amazing and then he fell off and stopped making army. Game number 2, that one scout conflict snowballed the whole thing, and then feels like this game he's actually been able to play. And also it was a nice recovery game too, because things kind of went awkwardly for him at the start. ACCM really is a fighter, man. He's got Legionaries raiding here. He's got Legionaries here. But when you've got Trebs taking out your whole eco, at some point you're going to need to find a response to this. And so as long as Dogao doesn't completely hemorrhage due to these raids, I mean, he is taking losses. As long as it's not too considerable, as long as he reacts to this, he should be okay. Guys, there's a Legionary here. If ACCM knows he's doing damage there, he's not resigning. Dogao, still, though, full hand cannon, and there's no counter to it. Dogao did react here. I'm not sure if he notices this one. And Dogao going to drop a castle here as well. Yeah, so this area can't be raided once this castle goes up. Gotta love ACCM's fighting spirit. This guy lost 2 games in the previous season, right? So he was 13-2 after 15 games. He will have lost 2 games after the first 2 rounds this season. Possibly showing the competition's higher, right? Possibly showing that maybe ACCM isn't quite at the elite level he was previously. I think I still picked him to be first in this group. We'll see. I think Veleza... Well, Veleza's at 5 wins after 2 rounds, right? I think Veleza's going to be number 1 in that group for the time being. ACCM, you are at 100 population. And he calls the GG at 100 population. Dogao snags the win at the end. And I got to question Civ choice here. I'm sorry, like the Romans Byzantines thing, I was like, cool, this is great. I get to show how little I know about history to everybody yet again. But it just didn't feel like it made a lot of sense. At least, like, the opening of Man-at-Arms I felt was good, but it took so long for him to have the skirmisher follow-up, which I felt was awkward. And then the continuation of longswords didn't work out too well against the knights. What I would have liked to have seen is maybe he try and play knight pikemen in Castle Age instead of the longswords. When you force your opponent into camels and force your opponent into pikemen, and you have a bit more eco, then it's like, boom, triple barracks, long swords, legionaries, all that stuff could probably pay off a little bit more. Yeah, pretty clearly, though, Dogao was like, dude, once I get cataphract, you can't do anything here. 2-1 KD, just a slaughter. And Dogao gets up to 4 wins after 2 rounds, which is obviously quite nice. This group still has more sets to play than some of the other groups, but let's look at the results. It's a pretty interesting group right now. Okay, so Margugu and Miguel have to play this week. So we'll know more about what this group looks like after Margugu and Miguel play each other. Feels like the loser of that series is obviously going to be in the relegation zone. But in terms of the 3 biggest names in the group, we have Veleza at 5, we have Dogao at 4, and then we have ACCM at 4. So this group, pretty close right now after just 2 rounds. But again, other groups have already started on their 3rd week, so it's kind of hard to compare them. Right now, I think Veleza is playing the best out of all of them, if I had to pick one of the 3. But obviously, still plenty of time for the players to warm up, practice some things, and get better near the tail end of the group stage.